Hi there. Many others like you have asked, who were the three men who visited Abraham in Genesis 18? You have the question, the Bible has the answer. Discover more on Got Questions. Story time it is. Abraham was visited by three men one day. The men turned out to be unusual guests, to say the least, and the visit was life-changing for Abraham and Sarah. The Lord appeared to Abraham near the great trees of Mamre while he was sitting at the entrance to his tent in the heat of the day. Abraham looked up and saw three men standing nearby. When he saw them, he hurried from the entrance of his tent to meet them and bowed low to the ground. Abraham showed immediate hospitality to the three men, inviting them to rest under a tree and preparing a big meal for them. During their visit with Abraham, the three men warned him that God's judgment was about to fall upon Sodom and Gomorrah. They also promised that Abraham's wife, Sarah, would have a baby by the same time next year. Now, some have suggested that all three of these men were angelic beings who appeared to Abraham in the form of men. However, Genesis 18:1 says that it was, quote, the Lord, Yahweh, who appeared to Abraham. It is the Lord who speaks in verses 13, 20, 26, and 33. Abraham stands before the Lord in verse 22. So one of these three men must have been God Almighty, taking on the appearance of a man. We call such an appearance a theophany. When Jesus appears in his pre-incarnate body in the Old Testament, we call it a Christophany. Whether God's appearance to Abraham in Mamre was a theophany or a Christophany, we don't know. But it does seem clear from the context that one of the visitors was God himself, and the other two were the angels who later visited Sodom and spoke to Lot. Abraham's response to the appearance of the three men also suggests that he instinctively knew that he was in the presence of God. A typical response to visitors in that culture was to rise and wait for them to approach the home. But Abraham ran to meet them and bowed low to the ground, a prostrate posture reserved for royalty or deity. Abraham was well acquainted with the Lord and would have instantly recognized him because the Lord had spoken and or appeared to him many times before. Those appearances include the following occasions: when God first called him, when Abraham parted ways with Lot, possibly when he met Melchizedek, when God made a covenant with him, and when God restated his covenant. In conclusion, these three visitors whom Abraham entertained were heavenly, and Abraham and Sarah were in the company of God himself. The story teaches us that God is aware of what is happening on earth, and he is involved. God can even visit or send his heavenly messengers to help fulfill his plans. We may not always realize whom we are speaking with, so we should treat everyone as though they were on special assignment from God. And finally, Hebrews 13:2 reminds us, do not forget to show hospitality to strangers, for by so doing, some people have shown hospitality to angels without knowing it. All right, that answers your question. Who were the three men who visited Abraham in Genesis 18? Thanks for watching. We hope that you learned something from this and got some insight. If you'd like to study more, go ahead and watch the video on the right. YouTube thinks that's a video you'd like to watch. Our latest upload is the video on the left. Make sure to like and subscribe. And as always, don't stop asking questions.